Hello, I'm Somi Arian. I'm a tech philosopher and the founder of Impeak. My guest on today's podcast is Ray Chan, the CEO of 9gag and the founder of Memeland NFT and the subsequent collection Potatoz, and now the highly anticipated Captainz, dropping in January. Like many other successful founders, Ray gets both a lot of love and a lot of FUD. That's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I wanted to meet him and learn more about what he's building and his ecosystem for myself. Thank you so much, first of all, for joining this call. I have been looking at Memeland for quite some time now, and I'm looking for an entry point. I missed out on the Potatoz, and it's just like there's so many brilliant projects in Web3, and it's just impossible to keep track of everything. So first things first, can you give me a quick overview of what Memeland is about?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me, right? I just recovered from COVID. That's why I still have some cough. So maybe I will keep coughing from time to time. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, about Memeland, right? But before Memeland, I should talk about 9gag, the company that I started 14 years ago with four other co-founders, right? We are still running 9gag. It's one of the biggest Web2 meme brand. Yeah, basically, it's like cross-platform social media brand for sharing funny pictures, videos, and memes and stuff like that. Right. After running the company for so many years, yeah, we understand the goods and the bads of social media, of Web2 social media, right? That's why when we started to learn more about Web3, learn more about NFT, we started to think that, hey, maybe this is something that can actually revolutionize the things that we are doing right now. That's why starting from this year, we started to buy more NFTs to learn more about NFT and Web3. And then in April this year, we started Memeland, our Web3 brand. We call it a Web3 focus venture studio. So that Memeland itself is actually not really just a land or something like that. I think I would say that it's kind of like the inspiration was kind of like Disneyland, right? Yeah, but Disneyland is not just a land, right? It's like the company, something like that, right? So it's like a venture studio. We are building and investing in social products, right? For community with community. Yeah, building means hey, maybe we will build some products, right? And investing, that means that we are also investing in some products as well, right? So what we really want to do is we want to connect creators and communities together through creativities. Yeah, the cats behind. Yeah, and also memes and NFT, right? All the blockchain tech. Yeah, because what amazes me is finally we feel like the incentives can be aligned for all the parties in the ecosystem, right? Because traditionally, for Web2 business, right, a platform, no matter how big they are, for example, like Facebook or TikTok, right, they rely on advertisers. But the fact is, most of their audience, right, their users, they don't really like ads, right? So advertisers, the platform, and the content creators, and also the users, right, their incentives don't align all the time, right? Meanwhile, for Web3, it seems like we can actually grow with our community. That's why I feel like, hey, this is so exciting. That's why we started Memeland and try to build out our business in Web3. Yeah, and time flies, and then it's like more than half a year, right? And then we launched our You the Real MVP collection in June. And then we launched the Potatoz, a free meme in July. And we are launching the Captainz, our main collection in Q4 this year. That means this month, yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about 9gag. You mentioned about it was a Web2 meme brand. What does that exactly mean? How did you monetize it?
Basically, for 9gag, we have more than 50 million followers on Instagram, right? 16 million followers on Twitter, 40 million followers on Facebook, and also hundreds of millions of users on using our web as well as our app, right? It's a very simple business in the sense that we are a platform for people to submit the content. That means we don't create the content, right? But the creators create the content, and then they submit to us so that we can reshare them on social medias, or they can get shared on our web and also app. Yeah, and we get the revenue by advertising. Yeah, and then sometimes some advertisers, they will find creators via our platform as well. And then we also work with the creators as well as the advertisers to create some so-called sponsor content. Yeah, that's how we generate the revenue for NineGag, yeah, our Web2 business.
So is it a social media platform?
It's kind of like a hybrid. On one hand, we have our website, our app. For that part, it's kind of like our own community, our own products, right? But on the other hand, we also handpick the good content from our community, right? As well as the submissions from the creators. And then we share them on the social media. So most people, they know NineGag because they follow us on Instagram, right? We are one of the biggest brand on Instagram as well. Yeah, and then somehow, later they discover that we also have a website. Yeah, that's how they use our website and app as well. So it's like a hybrid. It's like a mixture. Yeah.
All right. So then this community that you already had, those millions of people, you obviously they are more like followers, right? Like the so do you have like their details? Do you have like their because some of them are also logged into the platform. To what degree do you have access to their details?
Basically, we don't really track our user that much. Yeah, because it's like a platform for sharing funny pictures and stuff, right? We have their email. Yeah, and then we track their IP as well. Yeah, because somehow we have to prevent spam, right, using IP. That's it, right? And then I think on the website, we also track some data from the posts that they like, right? So that we can recommend the other posts that they may like, right? So basically, pretty simple stuff. It's not like sophisticated like Facebook, right? And then track all your stuff on and off Facebook. It's not like that. Yeah.
Okay, and now the reason why I'm asking is like how much of that audience you think you will be able to bring into Web3. So, for example, if you are, when you start building Memeland, how many of that audience, what percentage of that audience did you bring into Web3 as opposed to actually, selling to Web3 audience?
We actually didn't really want to bring our audience to Web3 right now. Because on one hand, I would say that the user experience or the existing user experience of Web3 is not up to so-called Web2 standard, right? That means it's very, very troublesome for a normal or for a new user to try to learn how to participate in Web3, right? Imagine how you buy NFT, right? You have to get Ethereum, right? Or maybe Solana, right? Or maybe other coins, right? But how do you get those coins, right? If you get it from a decentralized exchange, or you get it from MetaMask, right? But the thing is, hey, what is MetaMask, right? How come there's no lock-in, right? How come there are so many wallets, right, in the same wallet, right? What is private key, right? I mean, all this kind of stuff, it takes some time to onboard the so-called Web2 users, right? That's why when we started, we want to make sure that, hey, we actually can become a brand that they can trust. So that when we really launch something and then promote to our existing audience, right, then they know that, hey, they have been building in Web3, so that, hey, when they ask us to join a Memeland, right, then they know that this is a legit brand by NineGag. Instead of, hey, we just kind of like shove everything, right, to our existing audience, help them to create wallet and then send them ETH or something like that and create a userless token, right? Then that is not something that we want to do. Yeah, that's why we try to, hey, build Web3 in a very native way. That means, hey, can we launch our NFT collection, right? And then get people who are already in Web3 to support us so that they can give us feedback. Because Web3 has been moving so fast. In fact, right, even this year, right, we come from bull market to bear market in 1 year, right? And then so many good projects were launched, right? And then so many rug pull projects were launched as well, right? I mean, it's kind of like Wild Wild West. That's why we want to make sure that, hey, we know how to do it in a native way, in a correct way, so that when we tell our users what they should do, right, then we can kind of like become the trailblazer in that sense and onboard them in a safe and secure way. That's why, to be honest, when we launched Memeland, we didn't expect to just onboard the NineGag user right away. We actually want to build out our Web3 audience. But the good thing is, because NineGag have a lot of users over the years, right? That's why a lot of our existing Memeland holders, they knew NineGag before. They used NineGag as a kid, right? The one sentence that I always hear is, "Hey Ray, I use Nike a lot when I was a student, right? When I was in high school, right? That makes me feel very old, but also very happy. Yeah.
So at some point you think, once the Web3 experience is more accessible, that at that point you think you will be able to bring in your audience, because, we all want to bring in more people into Web3, or another way of thinking of it, we want Web3 to be more accessible to everybody. Because otherwise the space is too small and too niche. And it's just that the progression of this technology that needs to be, eventually reaching millions of people and billions of people. So what's your contribution going to be? At what point do you think you, as somebody who has already got an audience in Web2, that you are going to actually participate in or contribute to bringing in Web3 to the masses?
I wouldn't say contribution, right? Because it sounds a little bit arrogant, right? But I would say that for a legit brand like Nike, right, who is willing to explore Web3, I think this is already, I would say, a positive signal, right? And then if we can actually make something meaningful in Web3, this is the second positive signal, right? Then when we tell our Web2 users and audience, right, that, hey, right now we have something new for you, right? This is something better, better than our existing products. I would say that it will give them more confidence to actually join Web3, right? Because, I mean, it's not the first time that I hear that, hey, Ray, Memeland is my first NFT. Right? It's not because they know NFT. It's just because they know Nike, and they know that, hey, Nike has been around for so many years, right? They know that Nike doesn't rug-pull. They know that the team is hardworking, right? And then the Nike, you run a media company, right? You know that, hey, how can you keep pushing good content every day, right? That means you have to work every day, right? Even if there are scheduling tool on social media, you still have to pick the content and stuff like that. I mean, if a team is willing to stick around for 14 years, right? Non-stop. I would say that it gives people more confidence, right? That the team will continue to build. Yeah, I think this is something that we want to so-called lead by example in some sense, to tell people that, hey, Web3 is more than just speculation, right? It's the tech is cool. The application can be very powerful. So maybe we should be the one that invests and also to build in Web3 so that more people will come, more brands will come, right? Because when you look at the existing space, what are some brands that are actually big in Web2, which are also willing to actively build in Web3, right? I mean, maybe Nike, right? But maybe Adidas, right? But what are other big brands, right? And when you look at the collections that they launch, the holders that they have, the community that they have built, are they very Web3, right? I mean, those are the things that we also ask ourselves, and we try to be one of the top leaders, right? Yeah, in the Web3, so that we give confidence to our users in Web2 as well. Because at the end of the day, if you look at it very accurately, there is no Web2 and Web3. Basically, it's just human beings, right? It's just people, right? If we can tell them that this is useful, this is revolutionary, and this creates value, they will join, right? Right now, we haven't done that. We as in the industry, right? That's why people haven't joined, right? As simple as that. I think a lot of projects, when they launch, right, their promise or their purpose is, hey, we want to bridge Web2 and Web3, right? I would say that most of the time, this is like exaggeration. Because on one hand, the NFT or the project itself, they haven't established a name in Web3. They have nothing in Web2, right? That means they have done 0% in the things that they want to do, right? Because you can't just build a bridge, right? Because you also have to kind of like have connection into a Web2 and Web3 as well, right? I would say that for Nike, we almost like 50% done, because we already have a huge audience in Web2. So right now, what we are trying to do is, can we also build out the other 50%, which is the Web3? Then we can become the bridge of Web2 and Web3.
I love it. Now, you said that you wanted to build something meaningful in Web3. So tell me about Memeland. How is it something meaningful in what sense? You know, what is it exactly?
I mean, if it may sound a little bit cocky or arrogant, right? When I say that, hey, these are the things that we are building are meaningful, right? But I would say that we bring some different practices or thoughts, right, or ideas, right, in Web3. At the end of the day, we are not some random kids, right, starting their first project, right? We have been building company for decades, right? So what we are trying to do is, can we actually bring the product knowledge, right, business knowledge, right, as well as I would say business idea, yeah, and also how to manage a community, how to manage a team, right, into Web3. That's why when you look at the way that we've done with Memeland, I would say it's quite different from most of the projects out there. Right? For example, we always tell our holders that, hey, NFT is just the appetizer. Right? It's not our main dish, right? Don't expect, hey, we will keep launching NFT collections, right? Because at the end of the day, keep dropping NFT is not a business model, right? Because somehow I think why most of the projects are not working so well in the so-called bear market is because actually they don't have any business model, right? They don't have any product, right? Other than hype, other than marketing, right? And if you have been working for some time, you know that you have to solve problem, you have to create value in order to kind of like maintain or sustain as a business. Yeah, I think those thinking, right? It seems so common in real life, in daily life, in Web2, but it seems like kind of like rare in Web3. Because when you talk about NFT projects, right, most people actually don't know how they will make money, right? That's why when the 0% royalty debate started, right, I think a lot of projects kind of like are shaken, right? Of course, as a creator, I'm very vocal about royalty, right? But to be honest, right, the worst case scenario, even if there's 0% royalty, I know that Memeland will survive, right? Because we know how to survive with 0% royalty, because Web2 is 0% royalty, right? But at the end of the day, we feel like, hey, royalty is something that is very innovative in Web3. That's why we still want to do our best to keep it. And luckily, right, you can see the trend has been changing in the last few weeks. So I would say it's too early to tell. But somehow I think just different experience, different background, different perspective. Those are the things that we want to bring into Web3. Yeah, on one hand, to help Web3 to build. On the other hand, also help us to, I would say, to realize our vision, our mission. Yeah.
I agree about the whole royalty situation and what you said about the fact that the NFT is the appetizer, is not the main dish. I really agree with that. That's what we are also doing for Impeak, in that we have a small collection, but then from here on we are moving into soulbound tokens, because we are an educational platform, so we want people to actually commit to a certain amount of time to actually learn and educate and access the network and the content, and rather than focusing on just the rather than focusing on actual just like the speculative aspect of the token. So do you see, so right now you have had several collections. So do you see that at some point you will do something other than tradable NFTs? Do you think, for example, you might experiment with soulbound tokens, or how do you see this expansion going?
I think I mean our mission, right, is more about bring the communities together, right, and with blockchain tech, right. I think NFT is still very very new comparing to cryptocurrency, right, because the first NFT maybe, I mean, it's like a few years ago, right. Cryptocurrency is around for like 10 years, but it's still very new, right. So I would say that there will be new application, yeah, with blockchain, yeah. That's why I can almost guarantee to say that, hey, we won't just keep doing NFT right? Because maybe there are new things, right? But I think from what I've just for what I've learned in Web3 so far, right? I mean, NFT is a good way because it is very direct to the holders because they feel like they hold something, right? And they feel like they're part of something. They're part of a community. They have their own identity, right? This is good because if you can gather like 100, 1,000, 10,000 people who really believe in you, we can do a lot of things together, right? Because we were in YC, right? That's why I always read PG's article, right? He always mentioned that, hey, if you can make 100 people really love your product, right? This is a very good start, yeah. And then do the things that doesn't scale. Those are really, really good teaching, right? That also guide us when we build our company. And for NFT, we can actually do it, right? And something that is very different from Web2 is when we get those holders, right? When we get our holders to build with us together, they also have growth, yeah, in the asset value, right? As well as in the experience, yeah. That's why when I first buy NFT, I joined Kaiju Kings, right? I know the team. A lot of builders are in Kaiju Kings. And I also joined Moonbergs. I also joined Gutter Cat Gang, right? All these communities, there are a lot of builders there. That's how we build together. Because on one hand, we want to learn from the good existing communities. On the other hand, we also want to build our community. And that's how we can build together. And this is something that you can't really see in Web2 very easily. Because in Web2, you're either an investor, you're either a customer, right? You're either the company. Somehow you can't really have a lot of people that wear different hats together. But right now for NFT, on one hand, we are kind of like a user, right? On the other hand, we are also like investor. And we can also be the builder. So this dynamics is actually very interesting because we can see the experience get shared more easily. And also we can also see that it creates more liquidity comparing to traditional equity investing, right? If we try to go out to raise funding, and then the investor, if they want to exit, they probably can't do it because it takes at least a few years, right, for the team to raise the next round or to exit. Meanwhile, for NFT, hey, if they don't believe in the team, they can just sell. Right? Of course, a lot of people are in NFT for profit, but some I believe that some holders, some collectors, right, they actually believe in the team and they want to build with the team. You can see that in Bored Apes, a lot of or punks, right? All those guys, they were the early minters, and that's why they make a good profit, good return, right? But other than that, they also learn from the team and they also started their own business. That's how amazing it is for Web3, and that's why I'm so bullish in Web3.
I agree, but at the same time, there is this obsession with the floor price, right? I mean, it's all good and well when the price is high, but when let's say, for example, when you have your next drop, surely, for example, the price of potatoes is going to fall, right? Because a lot of people are holding right now because they want the opportunity to to get the next drop. But once that happens, then the price is going to fall. And when the price falls, the same people who are very bullish now, they become very bearish, and it actually has a very negative effect on the brand perception. So what's your thoughts on that? And actually, one of the questions that has been submitted is specifically about the price. So some people who are potato holders are asking me, what are you going to do about the price of potatoes falling after?
To be honest, I kind of disagree with what you just discussed, right? What you just mentioned. I mean, I don't think potatoes floor price will go down or will get dumped. Yeah, maybe I mean, for NFT, there's always fluctuation, right? Yeah, the key is, let me put it this way. Yeah, I mean, as a founder, right, I should not talk about price all the time. Yeah, but of course, I pay attention to the price. I mean, for every founder or for every founder, right, if they say that they don't care about the price, I think they're lying. Yeah. Maybe they're super successful, right? Maybe they're like Yuga Labs, right? That's why they don't care about the price. Yeah. But I would say that for 99% of the founders, right, they still pay attention to the price. Yeah. But somehow we have to find a good balance. On one hand, we have to be mindful of the price. On the other hand, we should not get dragged by the price all the time. Because as a founder, as a team, as a builder, you can't really control the market. We control what we do, what we build, right? We also control the communication, how we can communicate with the market, what we are building, right? And I think that in Web3 is pretty interesting because people are very impatient. Yeah, that's why they want to see result in weeks or even in days, right? But that's not how the real world works. Yeah. I mean, for any meaningful companies, at least it takes a few months to launch a product, right? I think those are the things that a lot of people don't understand. But the thing is, as a founder in Web3, you also understand the people think like that way, right? Then how can you prevent that? I think this shows that this requires some skills as a Web3 founder, right? I think some teams are doing it really, really well. And that's why you can see that the price are sustained very well, right? I mean, so far for Memeland, right, we launched almost like half a year, right? Potatoz, Floorprice is a free mean. And then right now it's like 1.6, 1.7, right? Marvelous in this market, right? I'm not trying to be arrogant, but factually speaking, we are the best performing collection, right? That is launched in the last 6 months. Yeah, one of the best, not the best, but probably one of the best, right? And then for UW MVP, our mean price was 5.3 ETH, right? And then we got fucked up and down, left and right, right? Right now the floor price is like 20 ETH plus, right? 4x, 5x in the bear market. I would say that it's a decent job, right? Do you think that is all just luck? No, right? There's a lot of luck, right? I'm very, very grateful. But we also try to do a lot to make sure that how we can keep our holders engaged. At the end of the day, in the blockchain world, we always say that don't trust, verify, right? Meanwhile, as a team in Web3, what we actually want to build the most is trust, right? They trust that we will keep delivering. They trust that the value will keep going up, right? Maybe someday it will top, right? But at least, hey, we just launched like a few months ago. So I would say that the road is still very long, right? I think those are the things that a founder or a team can do, I would say, to make sure that the price doesn't fluctuate too much, to create a death spiral, in the sense that, hey, the price go down, the community become a very impatient, right? And then they undercut the floor, and then the price continue to go down, and then it doesn't come back very easily, right? But at the end of the day, if the team continues to work, continues to communicate, right, I believe the price will reflect that. Maybe it's maybe it will be delayed, the reflection. Yeah, but if the team actually creates value, I believe that the price will bounce back. Yeah. Meanwhile, for back to your question, right, for Potatoz, we have a certain mechanism, right, to make sure that our holders understand the value of potato. We always tell them that, hey, Potatoz is not just the allow list to Captainz, right? Potatoz has its own position in the Memeland ecosystem. That's why one thing that we are quite different from most of the projects out there is we make sure that each of our collection are connected, right? MVP have the boosting function for the Potatoz, right? Potatoz have the assisting function for the Captainz, and MVP will elevate the value of Potatoz and Captainz multiple times, right? I think by being more thoughtful and mindful, I would say that we can. I wouldn't say we can. I hope that we can. Not maintain, but more like stabilize the price more. Because at the end of the day, if we really want to build, we want a solid community, right? A solid community will probably lead to a more stable price. So the price is not what we're after, but a more stable community is what we're after. But somehow they're kind of like connected, right? That's why we also have to think about all this practice when we launch our projects. Yeah.
So you talked about, that as a founder, that it's basically almost like your responsibility in some ways to make sure that the price of the collection is stable, right? I think I've done a reasonably well job with our project. We launched at 0.1 ETH for our Genesis Pass, and now it's sitting around 2 ETH. So in this market, and for us, it's like, we don't offer anything other than education and networking. Of course, the Genesis Pass has got some really amazing utility in that if you have a Genesis pass, you can put on your own sessions on the platform. You can utilize the platform in a way to build your own brand and your own, like tap into the audience. And then we have a Gen 2 pass, which is basically just gives access to the content and to the to the network. But when I think about if I wanted to expand this, because for us, for example, we want to build to a point that we have 3 million users by the end of 2027 in 5 years, right? And I can't do that with tradable NFTs. It has to be with soulbound tokens. So, there are things that are outside of your control because the market goes down, right? Let's say the entire market goes down and people freak out and then they want to liquidate. Yeah. And in some ways, actually, when you become more successful, it plays to your detriment sometimes, because when the price starts to go up, then people who minted at 0.1, they're going to sell at 1 ETH because they're like, okay, I 10x my money. So it's actually, really, really difficult. So I'd love to know how you stabilize and how high do you think is sustainable to go, and like how can you scale?
I mean, we have to get things very accurate, right? Because Web3 people are so good at kind of like take your words out of context, right? And then say that, hey, you are wash trading, right? You are a Ponzi, and then you are trying to kind of like manipulate the forward and stuff like that, right? That's why I would say that the way that we think about how to stabilize, right? It's not about stabilize the price. It's about stabilize the community by building trust, right? And then because they trust you, that's why they don't sell the NFT. Or maybe they still sell, right? But they don't just sell or keep undercutting, right? Or just sell for 0.1 ETH profit or something like that, right? I mean, we have to make it clear that which one is the goal, which one is the mean, right? Price is not something that we consider, right? But the community, the confidence, the trust, right? The loyalty, right? Those are the things that we have to think really, really hard, right? I think there's a quote that I like a lot, right? I mean, money, right, is the gasoline, right? It's the petroleum. Yeah, but we are not doing things, we are not doing a tour, right, for the gas station, right? That's why, on one hand, we have to care about our holders' feelings about the price fluctuation. On the other hand, we also can't get distracted too much, because sometimes, because it's almost impossible to keep using news to keep pumping up the price. Right? At the end of the day, you still have to deliver, right? And if the price fluctuates like weekly, you can't just announce a news every week, right? And you still have to deliver. You still have to build. That's why I think at the end of the day, it's more about how to get the holders that you want. Yeah, instead of trying to keep getting new holders and try to keep up the price and stuff like that. Yeah, I think there are some ways that are proven to be quite effective, right? Number one is continuous communication, right? That's what I like. That's what I believe in. Because if the founders or the team only show up when there is news, right? That sets a bad example. Because somehow people expected, hey, when you stay active, right? Then you come out, right? When there's crisis, then you come out. Then basically, people don't know what the team is building, don't know what the team is doing, right? But if the founders have a very regular presence, right, in Discord, on Twitter, right, have a town hall, something like that, like regularly, right? Then people know that the team are here, the team are around. It's kind of being a girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or being parents, right? Showing up is 80% of the job, right? That's why showing up is very important, so that when there's FUD, the founders are there to explain to the holders, right? When there's crisis, the founders are there. And also when there's good news, right? Then the people who always in the town hall, they are the first one to know, right? So there's no need to kind of like work with influencer to leak alpha or work with alpha group to pump for, right? Totally bullshit. Don't need to do that, right? We don't even have to care about the whales, because we want to make our holders become the future whales, right? That's our goal. That's our dream. So that, hey, right now, hey, all the bot apes, right, all the punks, right, they are like the cool guys in the Web3 space. Why can't the Potatoz or the Captainz become the future cool guys, right? That's our goal. That's my dream, right? And how to do that is basically to tell them, hey, what we plan to build, right? We want to tell them that, hey, please be patient, right? Rome doesn't get built in one day, right? Yeah. So I think full communication, I think we can do a lot of things and solve a lot of problems, right? But of course, communication alone doesn't work. That's why we still have to deliver. That's why we have to create some interesting mechanism to kind of like get people engaged. Yeah. For example, like Potatoz, we have a growing system, right? We have weekly price draw, and then like Moonbergs, it has a nesting as well, right? And those are effective measure to kind of like prove that it can help the community to become stronger, to become more solid. Why? Because once they stick, they don't have to think about whether I should sell all the time, right? They don't even look at the floor price all the time, unless it got dropped like 50%, right? But otherwise, they don't look at it. When people don't look at it, then the community is more solid. It's kind of like a guy. I'm a guy, right? It's kind of like, hey, if you always stay at home, if you don't go out to parties, to disco and stuff like that, right? Of course, there's a lower chance that you will have some affairs, right? Yeah, it's as simple as that. As a founder, we want to tell people to be loyal by creating mechanism. It's kind of like, hey, can you make a good dinner at home, right? Then I come back for dinner every day, right? Can you make the whole experience at home nice, right? Then I come back every day, right? We try to do that. I'm like the spouse at home to make sure that the whole experience is nice. There is trust, right? On the other hand, I still have to show that, hey, we have value, right? So if you don't value me, I can still live a great life, right? I'm not dependent on you. Because I think from time to time, some holders, right, when their bet got affected, right, then they will kind of like emotionally blackmail you, right? Hey, if you don't do certain thing, I will just dump your floor, right? Just dump it. I don't care. People will just pick it up, right? I think as a founder, we have to care about our community so much, but we can't kind of like get driven by the community. We are more like community informed, but also we have to be mindful of hey, the communities, what they want may not be what the team wants to build, right? So full communication, we can align better. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to that. Yeah, because if there is trust, then it's okay for the price to fluctuate because you know that you have 80%, 90% people supporting you, right? If only 10% people are listing the NFT, then the floor can maintain much more easily. Right? For example, like Memeland Potatoz, right? It's always just 1%, 2%. On one hand, because of our growing system, right? But on the other hand, I believe that our community kind of trust we will deliver, right? That's why they don't list. Yeah, because they don't want to miss any future opportunity. I mean, it's not rocket science, yeah, but it takes work, yeah, and also it takes some thoughts, yeah.
Nice. No, I love it. Okay, perfect. I think we've covered most things. Maybe last question is, what's your vision for Memeland, let's say in 3 years from now?
3 years is a long time in Web3, right? I mean, even 1 month is a long time. Yeah, I remember I watched I think, I'm not sure whether it's from your show or from other interviews.
I think you are talking about my chat with Kevin Rose, where he's talking about he talked about he was like don't think that far.
Yes, he said that for the planning, right? It may right now they only plan maybe like 1 to 3 months, right? Not like 6 months, something like that, right? I mean, it's true. I mean, first of all, as a company, right, you have to make something people want, right? But what people want changes so quickly in Web3. That's why we also have to be very flexible. That's why I think that having a very fixed roadmap is really bad, because if you deliver what you say on your roadmap, there's no surprise. Floor will dump, right? If you don't follow your roadmap, what's the point of having a roadmap, right? That's why for us, I mean, after running NineGag for so many years, right, we understand that it's very important to have a mission, right? We know what we really want to achieve, right? But the means, the how to go there, that can be very flexible. That's why I really love the metaphor of sailing, right? That's why even for Memeland, we make it like a private collection, right? Yeah, because there's no road. There's no point for roadmap. But it's kind of like a sea, right? We know our destination. Maybe we will get lost. Maybe the weather will be bad, right? Maybe there's a storm. But as long as we know how to navigate and we know our destination, then there's a good chance that we can go there, right? We can get there. And I think this is what we want to do with Memeland. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that, hey, we want to bring ownership to every community in the world. The thing that we want to focus on is actually SocialFi, is actually creator economy, because those are the things that we know, right? I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett's circle of competence. Don't do things that you don't know, right? Social, right? Something that we've been doing for a decade, right? Yeah. And right now for Web3, it's so new. Everyone is a learner, right? If we learn really, really hard and apply our existing skills, I think we have a good start to build something related to SocialFi and creator economy. Yeah. And I hope that we can achieve that and become one of the leading companies in Web3 with our experience. But we don't focus on GameFi. We don't focus on IP building, right? We focus on SocialFi because that's what we know. That's what we do. That's what we do well. Yeah.
Look, you convinced me. I'm very excited about what you're building, actually. And now that I have a better understanding of where you're coming from, I'm definitely bullish on what you're doing. So thank you, thank you for sharing. And like you said, you've been building this for 10 years, and I think that you have a very good understanding of how the psychology of Web3 works, and you have the background of building in Web2. So I can see why the success so far speaks for itself. And like you said, we can't really talk that far ahead in Web3 because things move very quickly. So
yeah, I think for Web3, it's like 90% similar to what we are doing with 9gag, right? That's why, hey, there's FUD, right? There are always haters on the internet, right? And then talk to communities, right? We always talk to our communities, right? If we talk about promotion or marketing, we are memes, right? We share memes for a living. So it feels like, hey, it's kind of like for us, we are like a professional basketball player playing with some kids, right? Some high school kids, right? I mean, I'm not saying that we will win for sure, right? But I would say that it's not super difficult for us to play a good game. Yeah, if we do well, right? I mean, we still have to learn because maybe there are some super cool high school kid, right? If you play with a 17-year-old LeBron James, right, or Kobe Bryant, right? Of course, they still win, right? But I would say that we still keep learning, right? And I hope that through talking to more founders, right, being part of other people's community, so that we can help each other to build out. And before we go, I think there's one metaphor that I also want to share. Because the first product that we will launch, I mean, after the NFT collection, the first product that we will launch is called holders.com, right? The tagline is a TripAdvisor for Web3. Why we use TripAdvisor as an example, right? Because I feel like each NFT project is kind of like a sightseeing spot, right? Maybe you go to London, maybe you go to Hong Kong, maybe you go to the US, maybe for different purposes. Some people buy arts, right? Some people buy PFP, some people buy community. It's kind of like, hey, you go to London for business. Some people go to London for leisure, right? But the thing is, right now, there's no good information of, hey, whether this is a good place, right? So what we want to do is, can we have a place to gather all those useful information? On one hand, for people who have been there, who was part of the community, they can share their experience, right? Instead of just shielding their own bets. Because right now, how come influencers have so much power over the NFT? Is because there's no good way to get information, right? Imagine if someone wants to know more about Memeland, where they can get information, right? They can just go to Twitter to search. But there's so many spams and bots on Twitter. I hope Elon Musk can fix that, right? But somehow it's so hard to find it. With TripAdvisor, right? Hopefully, with holders.com, hopefully it's easier for people to understand about each project, about each community. Then it's easier for them to make their decision. And that also helps Web2 people to onboard to Web3. Otherwise, even if I want to buy an NFT, where do I start? I only ask my friend, but my friend will probably, maybe I will become the exit liquidity, right, of my friends. Yeah, friends, right? Yeah, so with a better portal to share information, I hope that we can help improve Web3 and also bring people in from Web2.
Yeah, definitely. On Impeak, we have this thing called NFT Insider, which is where we invite NFT community leaders, founders for different areas of expertise. For example, we had G Money, he comes in and does regular sessions like once every 6 weeks about fashion NFTs. Then we have Hume doing, on music NFTs. That's another way of looking at it, rather than looking at what each project does. What are the best projects in sports? What are the best projects in music? What are the best projects in fashion, etc.? So that's also something that's so we can potentially collaborate on that. That could be quite
sure. Although the question is, I don't even know what expertise I have. But the thing is, honestly, right, Web3 is moving so fast. There are so many new projects coming up every day. Honestly, even the participants, right, they pay attention to crypto Twitter or NFT Twitter all the time. They may still don't know every project, right? And there's so many people trying to share alpha and news and stuff like that. That's why I think it's hard. Yeah, because there are newcomers every day. Yeah. Meanwhile, for the existing players, they also have their own challenges and burden. So it's great for you to have an insider section, right, to help insider sharing, to help them to have a more expert perspective on one hand. But I think even for the expert, right, they also learn something from your holders, right? Because hey, maybe they know some new projects that I don't know, right? That's why I love Web3, because the feedback loop is so short, right? Building it, I mean, talking to our holders is indeed makes me happy, because I feel like I can also learn a lot things from them. Maybe they are a crypto expert, right? Maybe they are maybe they are a smart contract expert. Those are the things that we can learn from them. That's why I love Web3, because it gives me a lot of new learnings every day. And also as a founder, it also gives me instant gratification, because when you launch new features or when you launch a new product, right, whether it works or not, in Web2, maybe it takes like months, right? In Web3, if you launch it, if people like it, they will tell you, right? And then it also kind of like reflect on the price as well. So, I mean, that's like playing games, right? In Web2, it's like a very, very slow game. In Web3, it's like high, I would say difficulty is hard, but also more exciting. Yeah.
So awesome. No, this is great. And
thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Ray Chan, aka 9gag CEO. Be sure to give him a follow on Twitter and keep an eye out for the upcoming Captainz release. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe to it on Apple, Spotify, or any other one of your favorite podcast channels. And don't forget to give it a 5-star rating and write a review. The full interviews are also available on my YouTube channel, The Somi Arian Show.